I'd like to call the August 12th meeting to order. Could you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Michelle.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Here.
Trustee Razak?
Present.
Trustee Wilson?
Present.
Trustee Udrus?
Present.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to have open to the public, agenda items only. Please step forward if you have something you'd like to talk about. Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Could I have a motion on the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on the consent agenda? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Razak?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udrus?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Michelle, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but do you have anything for the clerk's report?
I do not.
You do not, okay. Move on to my report, and I just want to, we don't have to vote on it today, board, but when November comes, our first meeting of the month will be on Veterans Day, which it probably won't be if I'm not mistaken. We'll talk about it. Then normally we take the day off before Thanksgiving, and that is our second meeting of the month. So I'm suggesting that we have one meeting on the 18th. So I just want you to think about it, and we can vote on it later. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm going to say that's the end of my report for now. We'll move on to the administrator's report. David?
Thank you, Mayor. One item I have on the agenda this evening is professional engineering services agreement for the central and the west water towers. As the newly constructed 500,000-gallon water tower has come online, the village needs to address issues with the other two water towers as follows. First, the west tower is a 500,000-gallon tower and is significantly overdue for maintenance, which is outlined in the proposal that was attached for your review. And second, the central tower is a 50,000-gallon tower and is due to be decommissioned. The actions to be taken for both of the water towers requires a significant amount of engineering and coordination, as the integrity of the municipal water supply must be maintained. The request is to enter into a professional services contract with Robinson Engineering Limited for the amount of $99,800. So the action requested this evening would be a motion to authorize the mayor to sign a professional services contract with Robinson Engineering in an amount of $99,800.
Could I have a motion on that, please?
So moved.
Second.
Second, okay. We're in the discussion phase. Anybody have anything they'd like to say about it? I'll just say that Robinson's been our engineering firm on the bulk of our projects, and I'm glad to have them. Okay, then, roll call, please.
Trustee Razak?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udrus?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Have anything else, Gary?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. The next item that does not appear on your agenda, but is a request after having some conversation with the mayor. It has to do with the Parks and Recreation Department comprehensive plan that is in process as we speak. And in order to formulate that plan and present it to the board so that the board is actually brought up to date on that, the engineering firm working on the plan has requested a special meeting for September the 2nd at 6:30 p.m. The mayor has concurred with that and asked that I bring that before the board so that we could get that on the schedule. So the action requested is an approval for that special meeting.
Could I have a motion on that, please?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Wilson.
Yes.
Trustee Udras.
Yes.
Trustee Blue.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustee Razak.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That concludes my report.
Thank you, David. We'll move on to the officials' report. Public Works, Trustee Horn.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You probably have seen the new water tower, which is online, and there's also a well house that works in conjunction with that, and that is almost completed, and we expect that to be online in a week or two. The road program is progressing, and driveway aprons will start tomorrow. And then I'm sure you have seen many branches around town. Maybe you received some branches in your yard as well, but the crews are doing storm branch cleanup. They've been doing that for the last, I guess, 2 days, right? And they'll do that through the end of the week. And that is all I have. Thank you.
I just wanted to say a very big thank you to our DPW team. They really have cleaned things up really fast, and so many of our residents have said the same. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Janet. Move on to Parks and Recs, and Michael, you got 3 minutes, buddy. No,
I promise. Thank you, Mayor. Well, the newsletter, it's on its way. It's actually, as we're speaking, being printed out. So be anticipating next week receiving that newsletter. COVID-19 has been proven itself as a most formidable opponent here. So our martial arts program and yoga currently are suspended due to unable to be having that person-to-person contact. So the instructors advised that it just was not going to happen. So, but there's Plan B, especially for the youth. The Village of Monee has joined with Fitness Premier for a youth sports camp. So the youth sports camp is going to go through August 31st through September 28th. Ages range, it's broken up to 3 categories. You get 6 through 9, 10 through 13, and 14 to 18. So the hours are, for the 6 through 9 is Monday and Wednesdays, 4 p.m., 10 to 13, Monday, Wednesday, 5 p.m., and 14 through 18, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. here at Fireman's Park. So be looking forward to that. Check the website, villagemonee.org, and also our Facebook page for any further updates, any current events. Thank you, Mayor. End of report.
thank you, Michael. We'll move on to Finance, Trustee Blue.
Thank you, Mayor. So it is audit time. This is the year that we get to work on our audit, and the preliminary fieldwork is going to be performed on the 14th of August, and the first draft of the audit report we anticipate to be available by around the 23rd of October, and the final draft at the beginning of November. This is also a reminder, thank you to our Finance Director for the reminder to all Will County property owners that Will County is allowing property owners to pay their taxes in 4 installments. First one was due June 3rd. Second half of that payment was August the 2nd. Half of the second property tax bill will be due September 3rd, and the final tax bill will be due November the 3rd. So that makes me happy anyway. I don't know about everybody else. That is all I have on finance. On the library committee, several of us did go out to see the Peatone Library District. That was Trustee Udris, Mr. Wallace, our administrator, and myself. We met with the president and the vice president and Noreen, the director of the library, and we presented our case, and they said they would consider what we've told them, and they're going to get back to us with the next step. And so we're looking forward to hearing back from them.
Janet, while you're on that, I know you got another thing. I just want to say that we are trying to get a library here in Monee. It's about time, so. Okay, Janet.
Thank you. Beautification Committee met this evening. It was a very, very busy meeting. We did some work on the Curb Appeal Award and talked about the success of that and how we'll do it again next year. We are planning our holiday decorating competition, so I'm giving you lots and lots of warning that you need to get things ready for that. We're also looking to present the Monee Historic Society with their Gunderson Roundabout dedication. We're going to do it here in the boardroom because of the restrictions due to COVID. Our mayors very kindly agreed to present that award to the Historic Society, the first meeting in September, and then come the spring when we can all get out again, hopefully, we'll invite the Gundersons to the village and do a rededication ceremony there with refreshments served, hopefully in our creamery building. The comprehensive plan, we did meet as a steering committee last week. It was the 5th steering committee. There are 6 in total. The next one will be, I believe, in October. More importantly, though, the open house will be coming up on the 10th of September. I know our administrator and our director of Parks and Rec are working hard to pull together some information they're going to share with every resident. It's going to be mailed to every resident in the village, just to a little tidbit of what's going on with the plan, and then obviously we welcome everyone to the open house. It will not be in person. It will be a go-to meeting as we did last time, and hopefully they got the bugs out of that system so that we can all get online. But I do believe they're going to bring a 3D model of that into the village hall. Is that right? Yeah, so they're going to bring a 3D model into the village hall where you'll be able to come down and see the concept of ideas that we've pulled together for the comprehensive plan, and we welcome absolutely all feedback. So we want you to tell your neighbours and make sure as many people get down for that as possible, and that will be on September the 10th. And that's the end of my report, sir.
Thank you, Janet. Move on to economic development. Trustee Razik.
Good evening. I actually have a report tonight.
What was that?
I actually have a report tonight.
Very good.
There have been several business licenses issued as of late. Bolton Cleaning Company LLC is a home-based business offering office and commercial cleaning services. Their email address is info@boltoncleaning.com. Hamilton Container Services located on Emerald Parkway. This company takes steel shipping containers and fabricates them into tiny houses, temporary offices, and specialized items for the military. This company will be for planning and zoning in the village board in the near future. You can check out their website at hamiltoncontainer.com. From Our Farm to Your Hand LLC retails high-quality hemp-derived products for topical and ingested use. This store is located at 5701 Monee Manhattan Road, Suite 109. ASAP Auto Services, Inc. is located at 25858 Sunset Drive, Unit Number 3, and provides auto repair services such as oil changes, tune-ups, tire repair, etc. Remember to shop Monee whenever possible. And preliminary discussions are underway with property owners in Industrial Drive area regarding a potential development project. End of report.
Thank you, Anthony. Move on to building services. Trustee Udris.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple things. First off, August 5th, the Monee Chamber of Commerce met. They met over at Lavas. A couple things from there. The golf outing, while still not officially canceled, is kind of hanging in the wings, kind of seeing what's gonna happen here. With capacities of 50 or under, most likely will get moved to next year, but they're still trying everything they can to make the golf outing happen. There was a large discussion at the Chamber of Commerce about the COVID issue that we're going to be talking about later, so I'll save those comments till later. The Ralph Phelan Award, they've actually extended the deadline for nominations to August 28th, hoping to get some more entries in for that. And at the chamber meeting, we were able to congratulate Joshua, I think he pronounced his last name Lisek, He won the scholarship from the Monee Chamber of Commerce, so big congratulations to him. He's going to be attending Illinois State University and going for computer science. Love Monee, they had a little update from that. They had about 300 cars for the food drive that was here in our parking lot. The shredding event, they said, was extremely successful, and I have not heard yet. The Global Leadership Council was having its event last week as well, so, and I have not heard how that went. Went very good. So that's it from the chamber. Building services, for the month of July, building services issued 47 building permits with a building permit value for the month of July of $7,697,583. 15 homes went on the market and are scheduled for resale inspection. Building Services wants to make all the residents aware of possible scams. In lieu of the recent storms, Building Services wants to reach out and remind every resident to be very wary of fraudulent insurance claims and contractors. A reminder that any and all solicitors in this village are required to be licensed with the village. They're required to carry their license with them, and don't be afraid to ask to see identification. Don't let anybody into your home should you be approached. And in addition, should you contact your insurance you should contact your insurance agency immediately to report any damage. And your insurance agency will most likely send out a claims adjuster to inspect the damage before the repairs are to be approved and begin. And make sure that have your claims adjuster review any contracts that you're going to do for any kind of repairs to make sure that you're not being scammed. And again, if you have any questions regarding any home repairs, improvements, or building structures, please contact the Code Enforcement Office. Or if you need a building permit, you can give them a call. Again, the number is 708-534-8303. Or you can email them at buildingservices@thevillageofmonee.org. The last thing that I have in my report is, as part of the building services, I'm going to be next week calling a building services committee with they're talking about the renters ordinance and change that I would like to discuss and amend. I'm sorry, is that currently, when every year landlords have to get a license for their home. Along with that, every year right now has to be an inspection inside the home. Given the COVID situation and potentially even going forward, and I've talked with Frank over in the Building Services Department about this as well, what I would like to see is the inspection only done when tenants move out and before another tenant moves in, with the stipulation that if there is any kind of safety or health issue, that an inspection can be called for. So, and then any other suggestions with the renters ordinance to take a look at. Next week, we'll be having a meeting, I'm hoping Tuesday, but I got to clear that date. So, more to go with, more to bring up on that at the next board meeting. End of report.
Thank you, Scott.
Can I ask,
Yes.
can I ask you a question? So on that particular point that you mentioned about the inspecting the premises, the unit, only when it's empty, is that what we're putting on the agenda to vote on next time? Or is, I wasn't sure. what
You know,
we're
I
doing.
don't know how we should do that. I would like to have on the agenda for the next board meeting, changes to the renters ordinance. I don't know if we have to be specific to what those changes are right now.
I believe you would indicate review, say, proposed modifications.
Okay.
With respect to whatever ordinance number it is. That way it gives us some leeway.
Okay,
Review proposed modifications.
good.
And can we vote on them that evening?
Yes, I think
Yes.
so.
Okay.
As long as it's in the,
Within the
Agenda.
ordinance.
yeah. I
Okay.
believe so.
Thank you.
Yeah, so if I could have that on the agenda for next board meeting, please.
Did you have something else, Scott?
No, I said that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. We'll move on to public safety. Trustee Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Hello, everyone. A short public safety thing tonight from Police Chief. They're going along with the same thing that Scott was talking about, scam alerts. A Monee resident recently received a telephone call from a subject claiming to be a police officer. The officer asked a lot of personal questions and wanted residents' banking information. When she refused to give it, he threatened to have her arrested and became abusive towards her. Rest assured, he was not a police officer. And if this happens to you, hang up and call your nearest police department to make a report. Do not give personal or financial information on the phone to anyone you don't know. It's not likely that a police officer would actually call your home for anything, right? And MPD will be accepting applications to those interested in becoming a Monee police officer. We'll post the information on the webpage, the Facebook page, and the Blue Line website in our local papers. Watch for our release in the next couple of weeks. End of report.
If you don't mind, Scott, Heidi, I'm going to tag on to that just a little bit. Personally, the wife and I got a call from the Social Security system, and it was a 534 number. That's a huge number here in Monee. Social Security doesn't call you. We just hung up on them, but that's what the phone call said, and it was more than once. So there's so many of them out there. The only thing I can tell you is be careful, be diligent, and they're out there trying to really scam people. So.
And I will add on to that too, and again, the likelihood that with our, the insurance adjusters and the storm damage, we'll probably be getting a ton of cars coming in, soliciting house to house, doing you a free estimate for roof damage or siding damage. We have a list of contractors, approved contractors for our village at Village Hall. Don't be afraid to ask for them, and if they're not licensed here, tell them they need to come to Village Hall and pay their fee to become a solicitor here. Sorry, end of report.
No,
Again.
very good, Heidi. Thank you. Before we move on to the attorney's report, Denisha, I know you stepped in a few minutes late. Do you have a report tonight?
Just reminding everyone, if you have not done so, I know it's like a broken record. If you have not done so, go online to 2020census.org and apply. Make sure you put in your information for your census so that you can be counted. Very important. End report.
Thank you, Denisha.
Denisha, I have a question for you. Are there census takers coming around town?
As of right now, I have not received any information about anyone coming here in Monee. We are trying to get a final push going on for Monee, and I'm in the process of getting banners and things like that from a grant that will be able to be posted, as well as other gear, but I will have that information coming.
The reason I ask is because somebody came to my house last night and was a census taker, I hope.
Really? Well, I will follow up with that again, but no, they were not
They
supposed to
did
be
have an
here.
ID,
Okay,
by the way.
thank you.
Their alias.
And Doug, may I say, please, you can talk through your mask, all of us are. So would you please keep it up there where it belongs?
best.
I want you to do that, though.
I will do my best. Yes, sir.
Oh, then I'll have to judge whether it's the best for us. Won't I? Okay, we'll move on to
Get permission.
Trustee Grzuski's report. Larry?
Attorney Petruski. No,
I didn't pronounce it right there.
No, I have one item for the board's review and consideration. It's an ordinance authorizing the execution of redevelopment note between the Village of Monee and Bailey Ridge 4 pursuant to the redevelopment agreement that we signed, I believe, February 14, 2018. This note is ready to be executed by the mayor and the board. All the work has been done pursuant to the redevelopment agreement, therefore it's up tonight for the board's consideration.
Could I have a motion on that, please?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I have some comments, Mayor, I'd like to make on this. I have a great way to solve this problem. If a customer doesn't like how a business runs his business, their business.
We're not on that yet.
We're not
Sorry?
on that yet there, Dougie.
We're on the ordinance for the...
My apologies.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Idris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Razak?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Anything else, Larry?
No, ordinance number.
Ordinance number, please.
Yes, ordinance number is 1954.
all I have, Mayor.
All right. We will move on to old business, review and approval of the letter regarding public health and welfare. You all should have a copy of that. Any discussion on it?
Isn't this letter kind of moot now with the
Oh, I'm
state?
I'm sorry, we need a motion first.
Oh.
Motion to approve the letter.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Second?
Second.
Okay, now discussion.
Isn't this letter kind of moot now with the state enforcing it now, last week with their own thing? Larry? Because didn't the
I don't
state
believe
pass
the
the thing
letters-
saying that they're going to start enforcing this?
What the state has indicated, they're going to try to pass legislation. I think it met through the committee today, that passed. But it seems as there's two separate, let's say, avenues. One, you got the state avenue, and then you got the local avenue. I think if anything, this Governor Pritzker's Friday's mandate might help our situation with respect to the importance of masks. But no, I don't think it's moot. I think if anything, been in meetings all day regarding this issue in different places. And in fact, the IML came out with a proposed ordinance that they're asking us to take a look at, every village, indicating there are repercussions if someone doesn't follow the rules. And one of the rules would be a possible fine. But this is the IML now saying this. So now you have the IML, you got the local jurisdictions, and you got the state jurisdiction. So it's, I hate to say it, it's a moving target, but I don't believe it's, I don't think the letter's moot. I think if anything, it might solidify the village's position.
And we have, this is kind of like a precedent anyway, even though, you know, we have just like followed state ordinances as well, just to put them on the local books, just to, for safeguard, am I right?
Yes, I mean, eventually I think it might happen where, whether it be a village, a township, a county, whatever, they are gonna take some action. It might be challenged like it already has been. The further this goes along with whether it be masking or distancing, it's gonna be challenged. And the impression I have, everyone, you know, again, I hate to say it, it's a moving target. No one really knows for sure. But this is a cautious way of approaching it, and is approached based on not state ordinance so much, but local rules and regulations with respect to a nuisance. If it's described to be a nuisance, that's local versus on the state jurisdiction.
I think this is the time for me. I do have a way to solve this problem. Very simple. If a customer doesn't like how a business runs his business, they don't have to go to that business. Problem is solved. Can we go for adjournment? I'm only half kidding. That would be the easiest solution to this and the least intrusive. But I also would like to go through this letter because I found some of the things problematic in it. So I don't know if the public has this letter, but I will go through it with the trustees. Paragraph 2, line 2, it says, unfortunately, my office has been informed that certain businesses have failed to adhere to these restrictions. I would like to know what businesses are not adhering to these restrictions.
David, can you answer that?
I can say that intentionally, it was intentional that businesses were not specifically named. That wasn't the intent of the board from my gathering, but we do have staff members that provided direct information of businesses that were not adhering.
And that's my question, what businesses? I think it should be, so we all know the playing field. I think we should know what businesses were not adhering to these restrictions.
Can I ask you a clarification there? Are you asking us to name the businesses who are not complying with the guidelines from the governor?
Yes.
I would not recommend that. I
That
don't
is
think that's
not a fair
recommended.
question, because inspections haven't been done yet.
And I would
So-
say the whole intent of this letter was to be not punitive, and I think naming specific businesses in this small town is punitive.
Because it does, well, then maybe the letter should be reformed, because it does say there are certain businesses that have failed to adhere. I think it would be helpful for the public to know what those businesses are.
No, we'd
But-
be doing negative things to them, Douglas.
Well, that's my,
No,
that is, I'm glad you said
Don't
that.
want to do that.
I do not either. Line 3 of paragraph 2, myself and the Board of Trustees, in the opinion of myself and the Board of Trustees, noncompliance with these rules, et cetera. I know at least there's 2 of us who are against this letter. I hope there are more. Paragraph 3, line 4, failing to adhere to these rules and regulations. I must emphasize again that these are not rules and regulations. These are guidelines. Guidelines is advice. It is not law. Now, having said that, well, I'll go on from there. Paragraph 3, line 11. A hearing will be scheduled to determine if the business license should be revoked. Who is conducting that hearing?
The mayor.
Would anyone else be involved in that? Is this part of the normal hearing process?
Yes.
I thought we had a hearing officer that comes to the village. Janet Aggie comes once a week or once a month.
Adjudicator.
She's retained by the village to hearing code violations, billing citation violations. I don't believe she's been engaged with respect to this issue per se, but she does come in, I think once a month to hear code violations.
In the sake of due process, you wouldn't want to wait to the end. If it happened at the end of the month or just after a hearing, you wouldn't want to have to wait 30 days. You want due process within a 14-day window. So fastest remedy for that would be through the mayor.
Well, what else is in this is that if we find someone not following the rules, they get a warning. Then, let me finish, though. Then, if we find that same business and not complying with it, then there's a hearing, because they've already been warned and it's been explained to them what they should be doing. So that's fair to read that too, Douglas.
Paragraph 4, line 1, it says, "Of course, I do not want to take such action." And I think you've commented on that. However, I would say to a business owner who gets this is vaguely threatening. Lastly, in the summary, my summary to this is the chance of, these are the numbers from the Illinois Department of Health. And this is as of Saturday, because I know the numbers change daily. The chance of a Will County resident getting COVID are 1.3%. The chance of a Will County resident dying from COVID is 0.05%. And this is really telling too. Approximately 85% of the fatalities are among patients age 60 or older. And more than half of the deaths in Illinois have been in nursing home residents. 55% have been in nursing home residents. So if you are a healthy person under the age of 60, not in a nursing home, you have a very, very good chance of not dying from this. Getting the COVID, yes, but the COVID is something, and I have friends and there are people in Monee, of course, who've gotten it, that you recover from. That is not the issue. So, but obviously dying is the issue. Now, having said that, Mayor, I realize that many people are very fearful of the pandemic. Indeed, any loss of life is tragic. Older adults with underlying health concerns should be cautious. However, and I mentioned this already, healthy people under the age of 60 have a minuscule risk of dying from COVID. Personally, it is important for me to be respectful of people's concerns. I always try to be respectful. If a person goes to a business and they feel the business is not taking enough precautions, they should speak to the manager and not return until they feel comfortable. Businesses that want to keep customers should be sensitive to their clientele. This issue of government guidelines leads down a slippery slope of enforcement because this letter is very vague. If we as a village board are so intent on enforcement, we should pass ordinances for this. So I'm very glad, Council, that you mentioned that the IML is coming up with a sample ordinance. That is the way to deal with this, not a vague letter that could be misinterpreted. Let's put this as an ordinance, let's codify it, and so everyone is on the same playing field.
Trustee Horn, if I may, for the minutes that were a part of the consent agenda from the last village board meeting that was under L3 for the COVID-19 restrictions, the board did actually vote to have this added into the nuisance ordinance portion of the business license, which then has this as law enforcement for the village of Monee. So now they are just voting on the, the passing of this, the new adjustments to the letter. So this was already passed as a law for Monee at the village board.
Was this on the last Wednesday?
Yes, so if you look at the minutes under new business L3, the minutes that you all approved already.
So are we saying that this is an ordinance now? Because it's not written in the language of an ordinance.
No, in the nuisance ordinance portion, if you look under that, you guys voted to add the COVID-19 as far as the, added under the nuisance portion of the business license. So that, of course, made it a part of the law, if you need additional clarity.
And I guess my point is that, okay, so there's the nuisance ordinance, which covers this now, but as Larry said, I would like to see it fleshed out as a ordinance, separate ordinance to itself, at least so the businesses and we know exactly how this will be dealt with.
Any other discussion?
Couple things. I'll turn my mic on so people can hear me. In terms of the letter itself, I guess one of the main areas that I have a problem with and would like to see changed, I don't like just random checks by the village, just any business within town. I personally would like to see, I would be more comfortable with checks of businesses that complaints have been received about, not just letting businesses be on edge, all the time that they might have somebody come in from the village to check them. I've had conversations with several business owners to say, I have workers who are not able to wear a mask due to medical conditions. They're afraid that somebody from the village is going to walk in, see that person not wearing a mask, and is going to end up with a warning or a fine. We spent a long time with the Chamber of Commerce going through this letter as well, and I have to agree with Doug. The more I read it, the more I feel like we're threatening the businesses rather than trying to work with them. I made a push at the meeting a week ago to get a lot more of an emphasis on educating businesses, working with businesses to try to get them to come into compliance. With the letter, I would like to see it spelled out more. Are we talking about staff or are we talking about customers? I'm going to read a quote from Pritzker's chief legal counsel about all of this. And this was in the testimony to JCAR, which is Joint Committee on Administrative Rules, the ones that just voted on this. Her comment is, the challenge we have, of course, is writing a rule that covers businesses and facilities of all shapes and sizes. This is a concern of the chamber. Businesses are not expected to achieve 100% compliance here. Businesses are asked to take reasonable efforts, signage requiring people to wear masks. They're not looking for 100% enforcement. This, to me, says 100% enforcement, and I'm having more and more problems with putting a letter like this out to our businesses. We need to support them, we need to work with them, we can't be threatening them with fines. We certainly can't, and I 100% disagree with threatening them with removing their business, suspending their business license for anywhere from a day up to 10 days that it says in here. I'd like to see that removed from this letter before I could vote for it.
We're not, to me, we're not threatening anything. I don't care how you look at this letter, in the respect that,
But that's the response that I'm hearing, but that's the response I'm hearing from the businesses.
Scott, hang on.
Yes.
When they go into a business, the village, they will explain to that business what's wrong. Now, at that time, I'm sure the owner will say, well, this person has medical problems, it's my employee. There'll be people that, we talk about the 6-foot distance. Well, do you really need that with a husband and wife sitting next to each other?
Exactly.
I'm just saying. And we're gonna consider that. That's the whole point of this. This is a guideline. And we need a guideline now, not to keep prolonging it. We asked our lawyer to add a little something at the bottom. He did it, exactly what we said, and I don't see a problem with it. We're not here to crucify anybody. And if there's anybody that's, I don't know, I feel I'm very soft on things. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to, are you kidding me?
You know, I would like to see wording in here. If this is supposed to be geared towards employees, staff, owners, that's one thing. But holding a business responsible for customers that come in their store and decide to take their masks off and stand around and talk, we can't be fining businesses for that. As long as, like the chief legal counsel said, as long as they're taking reasonable steps to make sure people are aware of it, people have to be able to make their own decisions. You have to be able to walk into a restaurant and look around and say, okay, the staff's wearing their mask. Yeah, some customers aren't, but I can come over here and I feel good with that. Or nobody's wearing a mask. That makes me uncomfortable. I'm leaving. I don't think we should be policing this.
Well, I know many people that will not go to some of the businesses because of the situation right now.
Right, and that's their choice, and I respect that choice.
When I went to my dentist, I went to go up the steps. I'm not even near the door yet. It said, stop! And it showed a person with a mask on, mask required. I finally got to the door. Again, the same sign. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, can you have a mask on when you eat? Give me a break here.
Right.
Okay? We understand these things. We're not trying to crucify anyone. We're trying to, look, when you get a large group together, and by the way, Douglas, the highest number right now are ages 17 to 29 with COVID. I'm not saying they're dying. They're getting it because they're all getting together. Anyway, we can keep talking about this all night.
I also want to make it clear that I personally am not against wearing masks. I wear one as much as I can. I'm not perfect with it. I try to wear it as much as I can, and I try to respect other people that do that as well. Somebody doesn't want to wear a mask, it's my choice to stay away from them. So I want to make that clear, but it's just in terms of the letter, I think it needs to be toned down. The way that it's written right now, I don't approve of it.
Okay,
Can I make a comment, please, ma'am?
please.
So when we were in phase 3, we were so intent on supporting our businesses. We went overboard as a village board to get the word out, go and buy from your businesses, do takeout from the businesses, buy as much as you can, we got to support them, and we did, right? We did our very best. We don't want to go back to phase 3 again. We don't want our businesses to close again.
We don't want it.
The whole point of this is to keep our businesses open. Now, I think it's perfectly reasonable as a resident for me to walk into my favorite restaurant and know that they are keeping me safe. Their food handlers are wearing gloves. Their food handlers are wearing gloves. The servers are wearing masks. Some may wear gloves as well. I've seen both. But I'm expecting them to take care of me. Now, if you say then, well, you don't have to eat there. I mean, it's your choice. Well, no, you're taking my choice away because you're not adhering to the guidelines set by our governor. And these are guidelines from the governor, and these are rules. It's an ordinance in our nuisance ordinance. It's about public safety. We can debate this forever, but at the end of the day, it's about keeping our public safe. We all want our businesses to stay open.
And
I just
agree-
think
and I
it's
agree
about
with
common
you.
sense.
Let's
No
make the
one
letter
wants
that
to.
say staff
Sorry,
and
I'm not
employees.
finished.
I'm sorry.
I am not finished. No one wants to wear a mask. Nobody does. Not one person in this room wants to wear a mask. It's uncomfortable. You can't breathe properly. Your glasses steam up, and no one can see my lipstick. So no one wants to wear the mask. So let's be sensible. It's not, this is about keeping people safe. If we have one person, if we have that one person die because they went to their favorite restaurant and had their favorite whatever they have there every Monday, Tuesday, or whatever the night is, and they die because they contracted COVID because someone didn't want to tell their favorite attendee in the bar or the restaurant, you need to wear your mask. Shame on us. Shame on us.
Then let's make the letter say staff and businesses and not make it just a blanket statement for everybody. It's got to be specific of what we're targeting.
We follow
And
the
I
guidelines
support
from the
that
governor.
completely.
We're following the guidelines from the governor and from the IML, but we're putting them into practice through our ordinance, our nuisance ordinance on public safety. I think we have to be sensible. I think, as the mayor said, they're not going to expect 100%. If someone does have a health issue, tell that representative from the village, my server, chef, whoever he is, has a health issue, he can't wear a mask. Enough said. That was easy. So it's never going to be 100%. It's never going to be cut and dry. I just don't think we don't need to lose our common sense in all of this.
Okay, let me say this real quick. There's 6 trustees and the mayor. We're here to represent the village, and I think we should call for a motion on this. We did already, right?
Yes.
I say we should call for the vote. We can talk and talk. Is that okay? Roll call, please.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
No.
Trustee Razak?
No.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Idris?
No.
Mayor Pop?
3-3.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. What else we got on this agenda? Is there any new business?
Oh, Mayor, there was one thing I'd like to mention in new business, if I may, that I meant to mention in my report. We do have our brand-new street signs. They're all here. Absolutely beautiful street signs. They'll be put up in the village probably starting in a month or so, but they really are beautiful, and I'm looking forward to seeing them up. I just wanted to let everybody know.
Okay, Janet? Okay. Any other new business? If not, we'll move open to the public and non-agenda items. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Come to the podium and give your address. Your name. I'm sorry, Denisha. You don't need your address, Mr. Snow.
North Snow, Gulf Vista. You talked about the census. I've gone through the background check. I've been approved to take the census. And I actually talked to them last week. And they're slow in training. They're ongoing. Most places are closed for meetings, so they can't have large, meetings to train everybody. And but they said it's ongoing, and they said they'd call me when they get around to us. And I'll call them tomorrow to see what the status is in Monee, because that's where I'm supposed to be doing it. End of comments.
Thank you, Norm. Anyone else? If not, I'd like a motion to close the open meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Larry, what am I missing? Do I need that first? Oh, I'm sorry. Before I can do that, I need to make a motion that we're going to go into executive session and tell you what they are. 5 ILCS 120/2, parentheses C, 5. The purchase of lease, the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body. Now, could I have a motion to adjourn this part?
I'll make that motion.
Second, Mayor.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Razak?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Okay. A motion to go into executive session. Oh, no, I don't need that. We can go into it now. Amen. Thank you all. I don't know how long we'll be, but thank you all for coming.
I wanted to say something so bad, but I didn't want to beat the horse, the dead horse.
I was just tired of talking about it. It's like, come on.